Record low approval, dried up fundraising, and millions of Dems fleeing to the GOP. Just how much worse can it get for the Democratic Party? Well, how about getting compared to Cracker Barrel's much-hated rebrand?
The Democratic brand right now has about the appeal with the American voter as the Cracker Barrel rebrand has with the American consumers. Bad, bad, bad. What are you doing? Oh, my goodness gracious.
Ouch. But can a trip to summer camp help turn things around? The DNC gathering in Minneapolis for its big summer meeting, but instead of charting a path forward on the policies Americans care about, the Democrats doubled down on woke nonsense. Check out how Chair Ken Martin kicked off his speech.
Now, please welcome a friend of mine from the Minnesota DFL, their treasurer, and her name is Lindy Somick, who is from the Saginaw Ojibwe Nation, and she's going to deliver our land acknowledgement today. Lindy.
And from there, it was a TDS bash fest. Tim Walz was fantasizing about how Kamala would have been a better president.
We wouldn't wake up every day to a bunch of on TV and a bunch of nonsense. Not a man-child crying about whatever's wrong with him. May his fat ankles find something today. Think of how easy it would be to be a damn Republican. Oh, what should I wear today? This stupid freaking red hat.
Democratic AGs have sued this dude 44 times, and we'll sue him 44 more and 44 more after that.
Donald Trump has literally shut down the White House for tours of school kids so he can build a ballroom. He is paving the way for his debut on Dancing with the Stars.
Oh, insert eye roll. Well, Bill Maher is piling on the Democratic Party.
While Democrats offer up high-minded intangibles like equity and saving the soul of America, Trump says, hey, waitress, how'd you like to pay no tax on those tips? He got the TikTok vote. He got the people for whom toilets are very important vote. He got the enough of taking our shoes off at the airport vote, the crypto bro vote, the tech bro vote, the bro vote. He got rappers and kale eaters.
Harold, Bill Maher's not wrong. And it sounds like what he's describing is a president for all Americans. And it seems that that's why Democrats are failing.
Well, I would agree with you. Democrats are failing. It's interesting to me to watch those leaders at the convention there or the meetings there, whatever the summer meetings might be. It would seem that you'd want to be calling people from the states that we lost, the big states that we lost, and asking leaders there, not elected leaders, but asking, what is it that we didn't listen to? What is it that you were looking for that we didn't give you? Instead of looking back and saying Kamala Harris should have won, maybe she should have, but she didn't. You don't win elections in the future by looking and clinging to something that didn't happen backwards. Two, we have name-called and criticized this president over and over and over again for the past 10 years, and it hasn't worked. That's not what's going to beat him. If you want to beat him, you have to lay out a set of issues, a set of ideas, a vision that people can rally around. Imagine if you wanted to talk politics at that meeting, that you said, you know what, we're going to switch up the order of the states that go for the next presidential election. Let's let Michigan, let's let Wisconsin, let's let Pennsylvania, let's let a southern state go in front of one of the other states. There's no tradition that we have to hold on to and that we must follow. Well, if we've seen that, if we believe that tradition must be followed, all you have to do is look at the last 10 years in politics and understand that Americans are ready for something different. Why not talk about where we differ with the president on things that matter? Let's say we want to fully fund rural hospitals because they've been underfunded under the big, beautiful bill. Why not say we want tax cuts for everybody's first $50,000? I've said this over and over again. I just don't understand why we're not talking about issues and talking about a vision for the future. The more we criticize and name call the president, the more our numbers are going to go down, the more that young fellow we showed from CNN, he's going to be right. I do hope Cracker Barrel gets it right because I kind of like the food.
Jesse, here's my question. Remember in the book The Witches, or maybe you saw the movie, where when they were having...
Roald Dahl, anybody?
Yes, my favorite. Remember how when they were having their convention and the doors closed, they could take off their wigs and they could scratch their scalps and they could let themselves be their witch self. So my question is, when the Dems are there at their own summer camp, Why are they still playing for the cameras? Why isn't it there that they're not rolling up their sleeves and saying, how did we miss seeing Americans for where they are hurting or where they are wanting, and instead just talking about fat ankles and ballrooms and getting it so hideously wrong, even when they're by themselves?
I mean, last year you said some guy had cankles and they'd cancel you. Now it's like their main line of attack. But Emily, this is like Trump, and he's running for class president. And his opponent is some nerd who's running on democracy and egalitarianism. And Trump gets out in front of the entire studio class and just says, we're bringing back Taco Tuesday. And the whole crowd goes crazy. And then he says, and you know what? We're going to have a salad bar for the ladies. And the ladies are like, all right. And he goes, and we're going to have hair and makeup professionally done for the cheerleaders, because our cheerleaders are the hottest. And everyone's going crazy. And his opponent's like, well, that's sexist. And he goes, oh, and by the way, we're going to have prom at my dad's country club. And there's only going to be a prom king and a prom queen. That's it. And everyone loves it. Then he says, I'm going to promise to bulldoze the Pride Center, and we're going to double the size of the gym. More squat racks, more Peloton.
Hear, hear.
Crowd goes nuts. Then he says, instead of a class trip for math class, we have casino night. Everyone's rocking out, having a blast. By the way, we're rebranding the school colors. No more purple and white. That's really weird. We're going red, white, and blue, baby. He's going to win. That's how you win. And the nerd is like, well, how are you going to pay for all this without raising tuition? He goes, well, our teams win championships. We bring the revenue to the league, so the league is now paying us 15%. Boom. He wins the election, and that's what Trump did. Paper straws, powerful flushing toilets, and nice shower water flow, and basic paycheck bonuses. That's it.
And hot cheerleaders, Dana.
I think that Jesse just wrote Jesse Jr.'s platform for when he is in high school. I'll just agree with all of that and then say something more about the Democrats and what they dealt with last week. Because it's not like they don't have issues that they could talk about. You know, electricity prices, even though it's their fault. Food prices are still something that Americans are saying, wait, these are like hurting. It's a hardship for us if you ask them about that. So it's not like they don't have an issue that they could go for, but instead, last week, they did a couple of things. First of all, the Virginia governor's race that's happening right now, Winsome Sears against Abigail Spanberger. Just behind a little bit. However, last week, they had to all talk about allowing men in women's bathrooms. There's this high-profile case in Arlington, and these girls had to be in there with the guy, and then the guy turns out to be a sex offender, and then the other schools in Arlington District, they all go collaborate together against the parents, and now they're likely to lose federal funding. And that's just like an issue over and over again. President Trump said this morning that they're not 80-20 issues, even though I'm so glad that you coined that phrase.
You can use it.
He said they're 97-3 issues, and that might be right on some of this stuff.
And the thing is, Tyra says, we hear all the time in the mainstream media and certain people in the Democrat Party that say, oh, it's a messaging problem about Dems. But the reality is it isn't. They're messaging perfectly exactly where their values are, which are in the toilet that we need to flush more powerfully.
These aren't Democrats. That man right there is a Democrat. I could sit down with him and have a conversation, maybe disagree on a few things, but you know what? If he beat me on the platform, I could work with him because there's a common sense there and a mutual respect. And that's what's missing. These aren't Democrats. These are progressive socialists. And it's the same cast of characters. It's not summer camp. It's band camp, okay? All right? And no one's enjoying themselves. When you come up and the first thing you do is you want to talk about stolen land, was there, and this is what makes them a joke, where was the plan to give it back? You know, oh, we don't go that far. Like, no one can ever ask a so-called Democrat, how so? You're not allowed a follow-up question, and they have no follow-up plan. These are the same exact people. Tampon Tim should not be at your place speaking. He lost horribly. He was horrible. He hurt Kamala, which was hard to do. You understand? That you don't bring him back. Where's the fresh young guns that you're bringing in with new ideas and stuff? The Democrats. Why? Because they've pushed the Democrats out of the party. They need to change their name. They're the Socialist Party. And they're not going to change. And they only have one act. They have one trick, is to claim that President Trump is a dictator. But if you look at all their political plans and so-called speech, they're the ones who look more like dictators than anyone else.
Yeah.
He's smarter than them without even trying, because the best and brightest of the Democratic Party have been pushed out.
I can't believe they actually started with a land.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
They have to, that's how they have to do every event.
Dumbest, stupidest, most undemocrat thing. I'm 50. I've been a Democrat all my life. I've been to 12 Democratic committees. I've never seen anything so wasteful than that. We need to get our act together, guys.
Yeah.
There wasn't even a person in the crowd going, yeah, it's mine.
A land acknowledgement.
Just no one. And you know what they do with one-trick ponies? They make glue. All right, up next, the media's beloved Maryland dad, a suspected MS-13 gang member, might become Uganda dad.
Click here to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page to catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You won't get it anywhere else.